Assalamu alaikum and good morning, everyone. How are you all? Welcome and thanks for joining Facebook Live class on Communicative English. Dear students, I think you are all in a happy mood because a big festival is waiting for us to enjoy. But sorry for those who are affected by the monsoon rain and flood. A big number of areas are submerged by the water, and some are the victim of aggressive river erosion. Though it has now become the part of our life. Okay, I have forgotten to know. Can you hear me? Do you listen to my lecture, dear students? So far, I guess it's okay. Anyway, today's class is very important for you, dear students, because we have to go a long way. Last couple of days, or in my last few lectures, we had been engaged with writing CV or resume, writing formal and informal letter, and we tried to learn how to prepare a job application where we have learned to write cover letters and the pros and cons of job application. In today's lesson, I'm in lecture 21. We will go for reviewing all this and try to calculate the level of our understanding. Okay. Are you ready to write a letter of thanks or a letter of complaint or to make a job application? If we do, we can assure that we learn something. If we don't do, it means that uh, we have not learned anything from these last lectures. Okay, but you have the opportunity today to review these events. That is letter writing, job application, formal and informal letter, or so. Okay, dear students, so we have a little time to go for. So let's see what happens inside the lesson 15, lecture 21. I guess that you are watching the first slide. That is all about the objectives uh, of this course. Completing this course, you will be able to develop creative writing ability, transferring information, ideas, and knowledge, and ultimately will be competent enough in communicative competence in our workplace or in the real life situations. Okay, so this is all about lesson. You see, hope you are watching the second slide. That is lesson 15, lecture 21. In today's lesson, we will focus on topic title 1, that is review application and later. In this lesson, we will review application and then writing a letter of complaint and then application for a job. And usually we learn something new words each and every lectures, and ultimately we'll do it. And you are advised to speak or to chat with your friends online, where you can compete yourself in speaking skills, and you have the opportunity to become fluent in speaking. The topic is about the formal versus informal letter or application, right? And writing task is our usual practice. And regarding this, you have to prepare a job application in your home along with cover letter and resume. Dear students, don't forget to use headphones while going to listen to me. Okay, what we will learn completing today's lesson. We will learn how to write an application, we'll learn the definition of application, we'll learn how to write application, and what are the items you have to include in job application. Okay, and we will review a CV of our own, and we will learn to write a letter, types of letter, parts of letter, rules of writing formal and informal letters, and we will also learn the difference between formal and informal letters. And finally, we will give emphasis on writing a letter of complaints. Okay, sometimes these are the letters you may face in the examination. Okay, normally we have to answer the composition part, where we have to write three things. One is personal letter, the other is application, and another thing we have to write in our examination, that is CV of our own. These are our usual practice. Okay. So let's say what is a job application? Actually, a job application is a document sent with resume to provide additional information about skills and experience to the employer. Okay. Let me make it clear. That is, job application does not mean that nowadays or in modern time that you will heap up all the information, that is, or the biodata of you in one application. Of course, you have to write it separately. Okay. The first you have to make a cover letter, then you have to prepare your resume, and uh, it's a bundle, it's a package of two things, that is cover letter and resume, that is called job application. Okay, so let's see what to include or why we will prepare all these. Okay, so number one, now following at the points you have to follow, that what position you are applying for. So your job application depends on the norms of the position you are applying for, what makes you a strong candidate, why employer should select you, how you will follow up. Okay, so these are the points you have to uh, give more emphasis, you have to give more attention. Okay. And what we include in cover letter for job application. Okay, first, you need to include the following points, that is contact section, salutation, information. Information means why you are qualified for the job, and then closing, and finally the signature. Okay. Uh, what to list in application contact session? Of course, we need to list some addresses of employee and employer. You see, you just have a look at the page, and you will see your name, your address, your city, state, zip code, your phone number, your email address, and lastly the recipient title, recipient address, and so on. Okay. Okay. Of course, in terms of choosing salutation, it must be appropriate. And appropriateness depends on how well you know the uh, how you how well you know the recipient, whether you are sending a written or printed letter or an email, the type of letter you are sending, it depends, appropriateness depends on this following topic, okay, following matter. For example, in our country, of course, I will suggest you to write uh, following the tradition, following the culture, following the system of our country, but we will learn the different experience of different countries. You see, in European countries, actually we can address like this: dear sir, dear hiring manager, dear HR manager. If you don't know the contact person, okay, but if you know the contact person, you can address like this: dear Mr. Smith, dear Rajiv Ahmed. But in the context of our country, usually we do not mention the name of the person to whom we are going to address. Simply we say, or we write simply sir. Okay, you need not to write dear sir or dear hiring manager or dear HR manager. It's simply write sir. Okay, that is the tradition of our country. Then highlight your qualification in the body section. Of course, this is very important because you have to highlight yourself so that your employer can choose you uh, promptly. And where we have to do, the following things. That is why you are writing. We have to follow the points that why you are writing, how you are qualified for the job, and appreciation for being considered for the position. Actually, I am talking about the paragraph that we include in the cover letter. Okay, so these are the important points you have to emphasize on your paragraph. We will discuss about the paragraph in our later slide. Okay, all right. Keywords. This is also very, 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 very important to mention the keywords in your applications. The keywords are like skills, abilities, credentials, and qualities that hiring manager looks for any candidate. Okay, if suppose if you want to apply for the post of employee benefits manager, regarding this, you have to pay attention that very points, that is employee benefit plans. You have to mention in your cover letter what is your plan, what you did in the jobs you attended, and you have to give emphasis on healthcare benefits. I mean the employee healthcare benefits. What was your innovations there? How you did the work successfully? And lastly, you have to mention the benefit policy. Okay, these are the key words you have to mention in the paragraph or in your resume while you go for writing experience or skills. And then, if you want to apply for the post of a customer service representative, it may include customer service, customer tracking system, customer skills, order entry experience. Okay, these are the experience you were associated with the jobs you did, and now you are experienced enough on that very following uh, matters or events. Okay, so choosing appropriate closing is very, very important for writing letter in a professional manner. Of course, you have to make sure that your letter is written in a professional manner. Okay, so here are many templates you see. For example, best regards, respectfully, regards, sincerely, thank you for your consideration. Okay, some are the templates that are not considered in our country so moderately or so softly, but instead of that, we can follow these templates you see with best regards, kind regards, yours truly, most sincerely, respectfully yours. Okay, so you can follow this template in the closer. Okay, so these are very useful for the context of our country. Okay. Here is a sticky notes. You see, as I mentioned, that you have the way of submitting your application. You can submit the application hand in hand or physically. going to the employer's office, or you can send it to via email. If you submit your application physically, then of course you have to add your signature. Okay, you have to add your signature. Uh, and if you want to send it to the employers via email, of course you need to include, or you have to convert your documents in PDF file, and that can be a nice touch with a digital signature, right? Okay, all right. Here is given some useful phrases for job application. As I mentioned earlier in my last slide, that you have to pay attention, much more attention, while you go for writing your the body of the cover letter. You see, in the first paragraph, you can paraphrase. You can have a good start with these sentences. I mean, it's a starter. Okay, in paragraph one, say, I noted with interest your advertisement, or I'm writing in response to your advertisement. You can start like this, okay? Or I would like to apply for the vacancy for the post of whatsoever. Okay, for paragraph two, after graduating from dash university or dash institutes, or you can fill in the blanks, uh, giving the information of your education and institutions. Or you can start like this: since leaving university I have blah blah blah, and having gained a degree while I was working at, I am currently employed at. So you can develop your second para with the very starter. And then in the third paragraph, you can start like this: this post interests me because, of course, you have to pursue your employer, why you are important to them, and why you are interested. Okay, and then in paragraph 4, if you consider that this is also the para where you will develop your appreciation. This is called appreciation paragraph, and you can appreciate the employer, and you can emphasize on giving some informations how you are available for the interview and for other tasks. Okay, so these are the gradual development from paragraph 1 to 4. Okay, we will do it practically while we'll go for discuss job application or the cover letter in the later slide. Okay, so you see, we have developed a cover letter here, and we will see how the paras, how the body of the cover letter developed one after another. You see, first you have to give the uh, company address here. You see, Samsung BD Limited. It's a sample writing. It's not real. You can put the address of your own. You can arrange the cover letter of your own, changing some words, but it's a sample of, okay, sample of cover letter designed for you to make you understand how it can be written. Okay, so you see, this is the salutation, dear Mr. Lee or Sir. Okay, it depends if the employer or the CEO or the executive director or the proprietor is from the foreign country. You can address dear Mr. Lee, or if you think that the employer is from our own country, then you can simply address Sir. Okay, I'm writing to state my interest in the position of Assistant Director of Samsung BD Limited. I believe that my work experience and education have equipped me with the skills necessary to be a successful candidate for this position. So this is the first paragraph. You are introducing yourself, and then you see your experience. You are just in the second para. You are just describing your experience, what you did there, and in the third para, you are trying to pursue exposing your experience, what you did in the previous workplace. And then in the fourth para, you are trying to convince why you are important uh, for 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 the company you are going to apply. Okay, so and that is the closer. That is the closer. Okay, you see, I have mentioned, I have written a simple closer sincerely. Okay, that's all. And I mentioned in the earlier lectures, and or today in my earlier slide, that if you submit your application hand in hand or physically, then of course you have to put the signature. And if you don't do it, if you send it by email, of course you have to add the digital uh, signature. And you have to you have to convert this Word file in a PDF. It sounds good or it looks good for the employer. Okay, and it will prove that you are professional. Okay. All right, come to the CV. Review of the CV. Here I introduced two style of CV. One is American style and the other is British style. Here the British style is introduced. You see. So here in Britain, you see they usually write their CV following this or giving the following templates. You see, name, first name, address, telephone, mobile, email, nationality, date of birth, profile, educational information, employment history, and then skills, interest, and reference. So where you will see that in American style, they love to give some uh, description about the objectives of applying for the job and many more in addition. Okay, and you see some in Britain also or in British culture also, some people omit these levels. I mean, personal information, and some people also omit the profile section. Okay, you see, but you can add it. And of course, remember one thing, we will not absolutely follow the British pattern, we will not absolutely follow the American pattern. We will just take example from these two patterns and we will prepare our own following the culture of our country. Okay, and that's the reason why I have introduced a CV, example CV for you, uh, considering the cultures, considering the situation, norms of our country. Okay, and this is the CV, simple CV or resume, following American style. Here you see the name and then contact address. You see objective. Okay, we have not seen the very template in British style. That is objective is not mentioned there, and then educational information, experience. They have used it as professional experience, and then language, personal reference. Okay, so you see the comments are given in the right of the page. You see, you may choose whether or not to include your birth date, marital status, children, whatsoever. These are the personal information. You can avoid it. And one thing you have to remember that, of course, you have to follow what your employer requires. Okay, what your employer requires. If the employer asks to give all the details, I mean your birth date, your marital status, your children's family description, of course you'll include. But if it is not, you need not to include all these things. Okay. So this is the uh, sample resume made for you. for your better understanding. And you see, we have neither follow the British style nor we absolutely followed American style. We have prepare a CV of our own, considering the culture of our country. You see. First, I have given the contact address. You see, you can put your contact address, house number, road number, and zip code, and then you can mention your email or the phone number, and you see the email address is here, and then career objectives. So you are intended to apply for the job of this country, and in short, this is a short summary of your will, okay, of your intention. Okay, then academic qualifications. You see here the difference is that I mentioned 3 years, okay, 4 years, okay. It depends. We have a different type of courses in our country, and it is equivalent. It is justified by the year of spending with academic hours. Okay, so it is easier for the employers to understand if you mention the years. I mean, you can make a comparison. Okay, with the traditional academic system. So it is better to mention. Okay. So you see, first academic qualifications is given, and one thing that is very important, that usually we start from SSC, then graduation, then masters, whatsoever. But here, I would like to suggest you don't do this. You just start the latest information of your academic career, and that's, you see, Bachelor of Science. I didn't mention that SSC, secondary school certificate. I mentioned with the latest information of the academic background. Okay, then go in order. Okay. All right. Second, okay, experience. All right. Here you see. Let me discuss about the inner of the uh, secondary school certificate, 10 years. That is Institute Nate, Jubilee Cup High School, Dinaspur, board Dinaspur right now. Okay, so it's a mistake. And group science GPA out of 5. If you got 4, then you simply write 4 out of 5. Passing year 2007, exactly what you are. Okay, and then experience is given in order, you see, and this is very important to mention the duration the of the job you have done with several companies. Okay, all right. Actually, this CV is made considering the matter of diploma engineering students, as because we are continuing with the communicative English, that is for the diploma engineering students. So internship is must there, you see, and you have to mention the internship part, of course. And then key skills, technical key skills means technical skills. So you have to mention all the details what you have achieved in terms of technical skill, and that will help you to have a better understanding from the employer to select you. Okay. And languages skill is also important, because sometimes we see that employers mention that you must be fluent in speaking and writing in English and Bengali. So it is important to mention this, that how good or what is the status of your learning language, both native and foreign language. Okay, and individuality. I mean, you are actually these are called the soft skill individuality. Uh, So good communication and presentation skill, confident, reliable, bright, and sometimes you see the employer expects these skills from the part of the employee. So it is important to mention it. Okay, personal. As I said, that personal details are not so important. You can add this detail if the employer demands. Okay, or you can keep it out from your resume. Okay, reference. Okay, you can mention the reference of two-person to valid person, and where, of course, you have to seek permission from the person you are just giving or using as a reference. Okay, and finally, the signature. Finally, the signature. This is very important. Okay, without signature, there is no validity of the information you have just given in the resume. So make sure that you signed uh, the mm, uh, sign the resume at the end. Okay. Now, I'm talking about the later time is getting up, so I have to go first. You see, letter is an important means of communication in both the workplace or as well as our personal lives. So it is a written message that can be handwritten or printed. So let us educate ourselves with the hints of letter writing. Okay, you see, we have two types of letter, formal letter and informal letters. You see, a job application or what's what I say, cover letter is a formal letter, you can simply see. But what is the difference between formal and informal? Okay, actually, in informal letter, it is called personal letter. You need not to follow any format, but in formal letter, of course, you have to follow some formats, some templates. Okay, that is universal for everyone, each and everyone. Okay. So the format is all about this for informal. Actually, you need not to follow any format for writing a personal letter. Though I have just mentioned here, you can follow it or you cannot. Okay. So this is the picture. This is the picture. This is the image of informal letter. You can follow this pattern, right? And then for formal letter, of course, you have to follow strictly. That is sender's address. This is the image of formal letter. Uh, Date, receiver's address, subject of the letter, salutation, body, and then complimentary closing, sender's name, signature, and designation. This is the complete format of writing a formal letter. You can follow this. Okay. So, as I mentioned, that we have to make a letter of complaint. You see, sometimes if you work in an enterprise or especially in the industry, you need to write a letter of complaint because we have to handle with some important goods. So regarding this, sometimes there may have some fault. So we need to learn how to make a complaint, letter of complaint. Okay. So you see first the employee, the recipient address is given here. You see, and then this letter is written from the Department of Customer Service, and this is a personal letter. I see. Okay, this is a formal letter of complaint thrown by a person who is using a train, but he has not got the proper services from the staffs of the railway company. So he's writing a complaint letter and demanding some what should I say, a compensation. Okay. So, but in our country, usually it's not found. It is found that complaint letter is written by the company to company if there is any discrepancy. Okay, but in civilized country, you see, anyone can complain against any company or the services they provide. Okay, and there is a lot of option, a lot of scopes of compensation. Okay. You see, this is a formal letter of complaint also. You see, as I mentioned in my earlier slides, that suppose you are a Rajiv of Bank Colony, Mirpur, Dhaka, write a letter to the mayor of your city seeking a solution to the problem of water logging in your area. Actually, these are the complaint. These are the tradition. These are the culture of our country. How we can write a complaint. We can raise complaint regarding the problem of water logging in our country. We can raise problem regarding the abuses of sound in our locality. Okay, so these are the tradition of our country to raise complaint, and these are the format of writing complaint letter. Okay, write a letter to your friend. This is the very personal letter. You see, here you are inviting your friend to attend your birthday party. So you see, at the very beginning of the body, hi. This is the very informal approach of writing of informal letter, and that's the reason why I want to make a comparison between a formal letter and informal letter. So you will, I think that if you enjoy the last last three lectures, you will get a clear-cut comparison between formal letter and informal letter, or how to write a job application. Okay. So, letter of thanks, example is given. I think the time is getting up, so you have to finish. All right. Each and every lecture, we learn some new vocabulary. So, so nothing new. We are learning some new words or phrases here. And for group discussion, you are suggested to talk or to carry on conversation with your friends online that can help you to become competent in preparing a job application or cover letter or writing formal and informal letter. The topic is the job application versus cover letter for a job, formal and informal letter. You can discuss with your friends about this topic. Okay. And this is the last slide you see. Each and every lecture, I advise you to write something to develop your writing skill or to become efficient in writing skill. So, in today's task, in today's lesson, you are asked to write or to prepare a job application or along with the cover letter and resume, where we must use a common required template. Okay, if you want to watch this video once more, then of course you have to keep watching and get connected with the following address www.skills.gov.bd. And then thank you so much for staying last 30 minutes or more, you see. Thank you once again, and see you after the festival. Until then, you stay safe, stay healthy. Thank you.